In my previous life, a false heiress defamed me, claiming I had orchestrated her humiliation. This not only led to my expulsion from my home by my parents, but also resulted in her vengeful boyfriend abandoning me in a desolate area where I was savagely attacked by a bear. Upon my rebirth, I became bound to the defamation reversal system. Whenever Su Tingting lies about me bullying her, the consequences of her actions will befall her in kind. Initially, she merely suffered a broken leg. However, it escalated to her tearfully informing her parents. Su-won gathered a group of people and dragged me into an alley, stripping me of my clothes. Enraged, my parents cast me out once more. As I departed, I cast a meaningful smile in her direction. The words had been spoken, not even the divine could rescue her. 1. Just as in my past life, Su Tingting falsely accused me of pushing her. My mother, Zhou Yuan, embraced her and delivered a stinging slap across my face. Children raised in poverty are inherently wicked. On her very first day home, she seeks to harm Tingting. I suggest we send her back, find her a suitor, and tie her down in the countryside for life. As I gazed at my mother, who was now turning against me, the reliance I once held began to fade like an eraser on paper. Everyone claimed that Zhou Yuan was the most benevolent philanthropist in the city, generously donating to orphanages each year and treating the orphans as if they were her own children. Yet they were oblivious to the truth. When I was 8, Zhou Yuan despised the roughness of my hands from daily labor, contrasting them unfavorably against Su Tingting's delicate and smooth skin. She heartlessly refused to acknowledge me as part of the Su family. It was only after my success in the college entrance examination, when the media heralded me as a prodigious top scorer, that Zhou Yuan, eager to flaunt her status among the elite, begrudgingly accepted me back into the Su family. I pressed my hand to the wound on my face caused by her ring, turning my gaze toward my father, who wore a look of disdain. Su Zhenghai nodded in agreement. Had I known her character was so vile that it would harm our precious daughter, I would have ensured she remained in the countryside for all eternity. In mere moments, my character was condemned by their words. They refused to hear my explanations. Blindly trusting Su Tingting instead, I let out a cold laugh, directing my gaze at the beautiful girl provocatively nestled in Zhou Yuan's embrace, who awaited my rebuttal. She believed that the moment I denied her accusations, my parents would only loathe me more. Yet, what Su Tingting did not realize was that every malicious word she uttered would inevitably manifest. This time, I struck my own face hard and offered an apology to Su Tingting. Mom and Dad, I am truly sorry. It was I who pushed Tingting. Su Tingting was incredulous that I would shoulder the blame. My brother, Suyu, was so enraged that he threatened to break my legs for his precious sister. Mom and Dad, you heard that Su-won, this wretched girl, admitted to harming Tingting. You must expel her, I weakly replied. The doctor said I have suffered from malnutrition for years, causing my legs to weaken and leading to the accident. I truly did not intend to harm her. To show my remorse, I will relinquish my opportunity to deliver the opening speech at school to Tingting. I end my past life. Su Tingting had harbored resentment against me for overshadowing her during a speech. Therefore, in this iteration, she received what she desired and ceased her pursuit of vengeance. Just then, I heard a mechanical sound near my ear. Ding. The defamation reversal system has been automatically activated. That very night, Su Tingting descended the stairs for a midnight drink and accidentally tumbled down. My parents rushed her to the hospital in the dead of night. The following morning, I was ordered by Su Zhenghai to care for her at the hospital. Witnessing her swollen, tear-streaked eyes, I learned the doctor had predicted she would carry the burden of this injury for life. The aspiring dancer's dreams had been shattered. Leaning against the window frame, I observed as Su Tingting screamed and threatened to take her own life. The Su family members, attempting to soothe her tumultuous emotions, suffered scratches that drew blood from their heads. I chuckled softly to myself. This was merely an appetizer. The main event was yet to unfold. On the day of the new semester, the irritable Su Tingting, with her leg broken, forbade anyone from accompanying me to school. Leaning against her mother, her face was a portrait of grievance. Sister, you wouldn't resent our parents for being overly concerned about me and arranging a car for me, would you? The Su family resided in the luxurious West Mountain Villa area, a neighborhood inaccessible to taxis. To reach school, I was left with no choice but to drag a suitcase weighing dozens of kilograms, relying solely on my legs to make the arduous trek to the subway station 10 kilometers down the mountain. Moreover, relentless downpours had recently plagued the area. Given my frail constitution, trudging 10 kilometers in the rain could very well cost me my life. Yet, the Su family seemed entirely focused on Su Tingting. Suyu rolled his eyes. Isn't she always lamenting about walking 10 kilometers uphill to school every day? If she's so capable, let her continue on her own. Zhou Yuan kindly tossed me an umbrella. Wan, you wouldn't blame your mother, would you? Ting knows you shy away from the spotlight. So she stepped in to represent the freshmen during the speech. Please don't hold it against us. I shook my head, clutching the umbrella close. I wouldn't. Mom and Dad, you should take my sister to school. After all, with her leg incapacitated, she requires extra care. I watched as the car window slowly rose, sealing Su Tingting's venomous gaze inside. I then took out my phone and dialed the principal of S University. Uncle Principal, my parents have gone to send my sister off. Could you come pick me up? Half an hour later, a black Bentley came to a halt at the Su family's doorstep. I barely moved a few steps with the umbrella in hand when Principal Lee Gung-hong unceremoniously kicked his son out of the car. Pay attention. Help Wan put her things in the trunk. I was somewhat taken aback by the sight of the young boy who had once obediently called me sister 3 years ago, now transformed into a handsome young man, sporting an unruly hairstyle and wearing a pair of black diamond earrings identical to mine. I touched the earring, a parting gift from Li Shun when I left the Li family. 3 years ago, I caught the attention of Lee Gung-hong due to my exceptional academic performance. Not only did he cover my educational expenses throughout high school, but he also brought me back to the Lee residence to accompany his son to an overseas mathematics competition. Li Shun was a year younger than I, his development lagging behind that of his peers. At that time, I had naively assumed he was still in elementary school, leading to numerous amusing misunderstandings. Upon arriving at the school, Uncle Lee intended to head to the auditorium and specifically assigned Li Shun to assist me in moving my belongings to the dormitory. We went to the cafeteria together, where we overheard the romantic tale of Su Tingting being publicly confessed to by the heir of the Gu family. One is a stunning dancer, and the other is the heir of the Gu group. What a plot straight out of a novel. I heard that just after stepping down from the podium, Gu Heng swept Su Tingting into his arms and said he couldn't bear to see her beautiful legs wasted on walking. The mere mention of Gu Heng, the one who had thrown me to the ferocious bear, made my body tremble uncontrollably. Li Shun pressed a cup of milk tea into my hands, the warmth providing a soothing relief for my inner turmoil. In my previous life, I had drawn Gu Heng's attention for representing the freshmen during the speech. The Su family's parents, eager to forge connections with the Gu family, coerced me into a relationship with Gu Heng. He suffered from severe psychological issues, and during episodes, he would drag me to his underground arena to witness wild beasts tear each other apart. He threatened me, declaring that if I interacted with anyone else, he would cast them into the arena. Thus, in my past life, I pretended not to know Li Shun to protect him. I lifted my gaze to meet the concerned expression of the handsome young man, and bit by bit, the heaviness in my heart began to dissipate. Thankfully, this time around, I had managed to distance myself from the deranged Gu Heng. Less than a week into the new semester, Su Tingting, preoccupied with her romance, remembered me and extended an invitation to join her at a gathering among the wealthy elite. I fidgeted nervously with my hands. Sister, since you don't mind my presence, what reason do I have to decline? In my previous life, Gu Heng had organized a welcome party for the freshmen in my honor. Su Tingting, envious of Gu Heng's affections towards me, had deliberately tampered with her dress, exposing large swathes of skin to seduce him with her pitiful gaze. She accused me. It must be because my sister fears being overshadowed by me that she meddled with my outfit. In front of everyone, Gu Heng scooped Su Tingting into his arms and whisked her away, leaving me the laughingstock of the circle. Despite my innocence, they labeled me a malicious country bumpkin. At school, I was tripped as I walked. While passing the teaching building, I was spat upon from above. If I left my water cup unattended for even a second, I would find it filled with cockroaches and the severed limbs of mice. I no longer wished to live such a life, not even for a moment. The weekend arrived, and I donned my usual white t-shirt and jeans as I entered the banquet hall. In stark contrast to the elegantly dressed attendees, I felt utterly out of place. Their mocking and scrutinizing gazes bore down upon me. Where are the security guards? There's a bumpkin in the wrong place. Shortly thereafter, the hall manager rushed over, seizing my arm to escort me away. What blind fool dares to enter here? If you soil their gowns, your life won't be enough to repay the damage. I winced at the reddening of my skin from his grip. I was invited by Su Tingting. I am her sister, the eldest daughter of the Su family. Hearing the commotion, Su Tingting approached, linking arms with Gu Heng. The moment I laid eyes on Gu Heng, my blood ran cold, and my breath felt like knives slicing through every inch of my skin. The agony of being savaged by beasts resurfaced. Noticing my unwavering gaze on Gu Heng, Su Tingting's resentment grew. Sister, are you dressing like this to attract attention on purpose? She accused, her almond-shaped eyes glistening red. Gu Heng, ever the sycophant, remarked. I thought Tingting was so beautiful, I assumed you wouldn't be far behind. Who knew you two were worlds apart? Su Tingting, pleased by his disparagement of me, nestled contentedly against his broad chest. I sighed in relief. Su Tingting took a glass of red wine from a server's tray, feigning to offer it to me. Sister, Gu Heng loves to speak the truth, so please don't hold it against him. In the next instant, the wine splashed onto my $1,000,000 gown. Su Tingting's eyes brimmed with tears as she reproached me. Sister, I was trying to help you out of a bind. How could you spill wine on me? Gu Heng's expression soured, his meticulously crafted doll now sullied. No, I didn't. You can check the surveillance. My hands didn't even move. Su Tingting cried. Are you implying that I would douse myself in wine just to frame you? The entire crowd was drawn to the spectacle, converging to cast blame upon me. I said it before, those with poor backgrounds have dark psyches. They're nowhere near as easy to deal with as girls raised in wealth. Exactly. Look at her pathetic demeanor. It's as if the world owes her something. I vehemently disagreed with their conclusions. Judging a person's character shouldn't be based on their wealth or the quality of their upbringing. Su Tingting, despite being enveloped in love, had not hesitated to become a person of malice. In contrast, I, having emerged from a humble background to enter a prestigious institution through sheer determination, could not fathom why these wealthy individuals insisted on using the poor to highlight their affluence while simultaneously trampling upon them to elevate their own supposed nobility. I tightened my grip on the collar, where a tiny camera lay hidden, ready to restore my innocence at a moment's notice. Yet, it seemed that the truth mattered little to them. Gu Heng retrieved his phone from his pocket, dialing a number. Uncle Zhang, has the little one been fed? He cast a malevolent glance in my direction. If you haven't fed them well, I'll bring them some treats when I get home. Upon hearing this, my complexion instantly turned pale. Su Tingting, filled with curiosity, inquired, Gu, do you still have little pets at home? In truth, they were nothing but a pack of ruthless beasts. Gu Heng, relentless in his pursuit, commanded that I be taken to the back, asserting that he intended to bring me home to feed the little creatures their supper. Fortunately, Li Shan received my silent plea for help and arrived just in time. Gu Heng recognized him. You have an interest in such a woman? Quite an unusual taste. Li Shan refrained from arguing, casting a penetrating gaze at Gu Heng. She is my father's most esteemed student, even selected as a key talent supported by the nation. If anything were to happen to her, your father would likely be unable to assist you. Gu Heng detested being reminded of his reliance on his father, and in a fit of rage, he smashed his cup onto the ground. Su Tingting, startled, stumbled back and inadvertently collided with a wall of wine glasses. In an instant, a multitude of glasses tumbled towards her, causing her to slip and fall, her white gown stained a deep crimson. My face, it hurts so much, she lamented. Gu Heng, forcefully gripping her chin, was taken aback by the unsightly scars. Just then, I heard the system notification chime in my ear. Ding! The Rumor Backlash System has activated for the second time. Once the host bears 6 instances of blame, the system reward can be triggered, granting access to technology that does not exist in your world. By Monday, the entire university was abuzz with news of Su Tingting's disfigurement. No one seemed to notice my minor incident at the banquet. Many speculated about the ambiguous feelings of the Gu family's heir towards Su Tingting. Was it a decisive abandonment or a romantic favoritism? During Su Tingting's overseas treatment for her scars, I finally found time to focus on my studies, burying myself in the laboratory with Li Shan. We toiled for days, striving to crack the unique chip technology from abroad, often getting by on merely 3 hours of sleep. A month later, we emerged from the lab, disheveled yet triumphant. Professor Li Gunghome was elated, eager to report our findings to the nation. Wanwan, our breakthrough in this technology is largely thanks to you. I will report this to the authorities and apply for an honorary medal on your behalf. Before I could respond, exhaustion overwhelmed me, and I fainted in Li Shan's arms. When I regained consciousness, it was already the following morning. Still receiving nutritional IVs, I was met with a forceful call from Zhou Yuan demanding my return home. Your sister has gone through such a significant ordeal, and you've been out enjoying yourself for a month as if nothing happened. So one, if you don't want to acknowledge me as your mother, you might as well perish outside. Hearing my mother's words, the anticipation of receiving an honorary medal evaporated. Weakly, I explained, no, Mom, I was in the hospital too. No matter what you were doing in the hospital, you must hurry home and apologize to Tingting. I swallowed the remainder of my words and summoned a nurse to remove my fore. The nurse, understanding my condition, couldn't help but chastise me. Look at how weak you are, and yet you refuse to stay in the hospital. I shook my head, suspecting that Su Tingting was plotting against me again. If I didn't return home, how could she employ her manipulative tactics to ensnare me? If she didn't set a trap for me, how could I fulfill my system's tasks? Upon my return home, the once joyful living room fell into an eerie silence. Zhou Yuan wore a stern expression, seemingly pressuring me to apologize. Dazed and weary, I struggled to maintain my composure. Su Tingting, harboring resentment, threw herself into Zhou Yuan's arms, weeping. Mom, my sister must despise me. That's why she deliberately sabotaged me, causing me to embarrass myself and become disfigured at the banquet. I then noticed the faint scars still visible on her face. Just as I was about to retort, a vase came crashing towards me. I was struck solidly, collapsing to the ground, my head spinning. Red blood trickled down my forehead and into my eyes, casting everything in a crimson hue. Su Yu, in a fit of rage, hurled the vase as if it were nothing. He stepped on my hand with force. You wretched girl. If you had cared for Tingting at the banquet, she wouldn't have gotten hurt. I was baffled and confused. In my previous life, I had doubted whether I was truly my parents' biological child, even secretly obtaining their hair for a DNA test. But the results were unexpected. I was indeed their child. Yet, children differ from one another. Su Tingting was the child they had chosen, while I had been thrust into this family against my will. Weakly lying on the ground, I endeavored to defend myself. I didn't do anything. None of this is my fault. I have video evidence right in my pocket. The Su family watched Su Yu's violence with cold indifference, unwilling to even glance at the video. Su Tingting, dabbing her tears with a tissue, lamented, Sister, it's one thing if you don't love me, but how could you harm me? She caressed her face, sighing, My parents are truly something. The doctor said that with another round of surgery, the scars would completely vanish. They insist that I have suffered a great injustice and must be avenged. Suddenly, the system notification chimed in my ear for the third time. Ding! The host has completed the Rumor Backlash task for the third time. I glared fiercely at Su Tingting. This time, she had falsely accused me of ruining her appearance. The scars on her face, however, would be inescapable. My phone was shattered by Su Yu. He confined me in the basement. Before closing the door, Zhou Yuan sighed. Wan, don't blame your mother. Your thoughts are too dark. For Tingting's sake, and for your own future, we must teach you a lesson. Dragging my numb limbs, I weakly defended myself. I didn't harm Su Tingting. I still need to attend the award ceremony. I can't stay in the basement. So just go. You think just because you study well, you're destined for greatness? A bookworm like you will never compare to Tingting. Alright, so one. You might as well stay here with the rats and cockroaches. The basement door slowly shut. I lay on the cold, damp floor, listening to the scuttling sounds of insects. Overwhelmed by despair and pain, I lost track of time. The basement door creaked open again, a beam of light illuminating my form. I struggled to open my eyes, only to see a tall figure rushing towards me. Su Wan, wake up. As I was taken to the hospital, I vaguely heard Li Shin murmuring in my ear. Su Tingting knew you were to be honored, so she deliberately had your family lock you up. If you don't wake up soon, Su Tingting will accept the award in your place. Your honor and reputation, all the hard work of a month in the lab, will be squandered for someone else. His words struck a chord. Anger surged through me, and I abruptly opened my eyes. Li Shun was momentarily stunned. He broke into a smile. Fool. It seems that hatred runs deeper than love. Half an hour later, we arrived at the hospital. They connected me to Infor, and then we took a taxi to the school. Inside the auditorium, all the faculty and students were watching the beautifully dressed Su Tingting standing on the stage. As long as Su Tingting accepted the award, no matter what transpired afterwards regarding my attempt to claim it, the leadership would likely suppress any scandal for the sake of appearances. Professor Li Gunghong anxiously glanced towards the auditorium entrance. He had initially opposed Su Tingting receiving the award, but the Gu family had exerted considerable pressure. Gu Heng mocked him, claiming that as long as I was present in the auditorium, there would be no need for Su Tingting to accept the award. Gu Heng sat among a group of leaders, his gaze towards Su Tingting betraying an unmistakable admiration. She was his most exquisite piece of art, albeit one with a slight flaw. Su Tingting felt the weight of Gu Heng's gaze upon her, a discomforting sensation that made her touch her cheek. For reasons unknown, the scar that once seemed to fade remained stubbornly visible, with doctors even warning of the risk of further hypertrophy. As time trickled away, the Grand Hall's entrance remained eerily still. The leaders urged Li Gunghong to present the honorary medal. With a resigned sigh, Li Gung-hong cast one last glance at the door. Perhaps this was simply fate. Wait. At that moment, I, along with Li Shun, entered the auditorium. All eyes were meticulously fixed upon us. On the podium, Su Tingting's delicate face turned ashen. I raised my chin towards her, silently declaring, "It is not yours. You cannot take it away." Li Shun, one hand clutching a bottle of medication and the other supporting me, ascended the stage. Su Zhenghai abruptly stood, exclaiming, "Su Wan, it is one thing to bully your sister. But why must you create a scene at such a significant moment?" Zhou Yuan, with genuine concern, advised me, "Wan Wan, it is all because of our mother's absence in your upbringing that has shaped your unruly character. You must behave and not disrupt your sister's recognition." Su Yu threatened me further. "I never expected the basement to contain you, Su Wan. You truly are a formidable character. Where shall I hide you next time?" For a moment, the audience buzzed with various opinions. Some remarked, "Su Wan resembles that wicked supporting character, constantly bullying our beautiful and kind Tingting." Others chimed in, "In that case, President Gu is akin to a male protagonist in a novel, destined to protect our Tingting." Yet others noted, "Isn't that Li Shun? The principal's son has also been involved in this project. I recall Su Tingting was abroad last month due to her facial injuries, correct? Could it be that Su Tingting is impersonating Su Wan's achievements? What a disgraceful act for a supposed leading lady." Never before had Su Tingting faced such criticism from the crowd. She looked helplessly towards Gu Heng. Gu Heng, too, felt a surge of frustration, unable to fathom how I could continually sabotage his plans. Grasping the microphone, I turned my ire upon Su Tingting. "Sister, you claim you contributed to this technology. Can you produce the lab records from your time there last month?" Su Tingting's eyes brimmed with tears. "Sister, you know full well that the lab's logbook was destroyed. Must you escalate the situation?" Li Shun and Li Gung-hong nodded in agreement. My brow furrowed as I realized Gu Heng had indeed destroyed the personnel log and even the surveillance footage to shield Su Tingting. Turning her back to the audience, Su Tingting mouthed to me, "Sister, what can we do? You have no way to prove you are the true developer of this technology, do you?" My teeth clenched in determination. "No, I can prove it is my invention." Impatience began to ripple through the crowd, urging me to produce evidence swiftly. "Can we skip the empty rhetoric? There are so many distinguished individuals here. This is not a child's play." "Exactly. Can we see some substantial proof?" Amidst the laughter and jeers, I tightened my grip on the microphone. Then, I articulated a series of technical terminologies regarding the technology, which those well-versed in the industry comprehended. Only Su Tingting appeared as a naive girl, her round eyes wide with confusion as she stared at me. Soon, the titans of the industry began to form their conclusions. Gu Heng was taken aback, not expecting me to have memorized such intricate details. Li Gung-hong and Li Shun could corroborate my claims. However, I refrained from involving them further, not wishing to provoke the Gu family. Disappointed, Gu Heng realized that Su Tingting was merely an ineffectual ornament. After Gu Heng stormed out in anger, Su Tingting, seeing no way out, feigned unconsciousness. I had no desire to expose her ruse. After calling for her to be carried away, I accepted accolades from various industry leaders at the awards ceremony. Suddenly, I was astonished to hear a system notification sound in my ear. Ding! The host has completed the 4th Rumor Backlash task. Only 2 more to go. Please continue your efforts. I glanced at my bloodied and mangled fingers and used my 3rd reward to restore them. After the ceremony concluded, my name graced the front pages of newspapers. An honor unattainable in my past life. Within an afternoon, the school forum erupted with activity. Su Tingting truly has a thick skin. Who would have thought she would resort to impersonation? Now it seems her claims of Su Wan bullying her are utterly untrustworthy. Did I truly change my perception of Su Wan? Despite her family and the world standing against her, she can still thrive and be herself. Su Tingting, realizing her humiliation, insisted her parents grant her sick leave. Unfortunately, the school did not permit indefinite absences. Continued non-attendance would result in expulsion. Upon mustering the courage to return to school, Su Tingting discovered Gu Heng had already found a new partner, the very vice president of the dance club she had always looked down upon. Infuriated, Su Tingting sought trouble with her, only to be intercepted. "Su Tingting, right? The instructor requests your presence in the office." Bewildered, Su Tingting had no idea why she was summoned. It was only when the instructor slammed a stack of evidence before her that she realized her impending doom. It turned out her college entrance exam scores and thesis were acquired through bribes and connections, having replaced someone else's work. In my previous life, she had concealed this well. The victim had spent a lifetime believing they lacked the capability to attend university. This time, through the Rumor Backlash System, I enabled that wronged small-town scholar to bask in the glow of justice. This farce not only led to Su Tingting's expulsion but also the revocation of her academic status. Upon returning home, Su Tingting isolated herself in her bedroom, which deeply pained Zhou Yuan. Why would someone report our Tingting? Without her, others would take her university spot. Su Yu, the overprotective brother, was furious, wanting to confront the accuser, only to receive a harsh slap from Su Jinghai. This mistake lies with us. If you wish to ruin the company, then go ahead and stir up trouble. With red eyes, Su Yu protested, yet I cannot let Tingting suffer. Su Jinghai, gloomily smoking, replied, do not fret, we still have Su Wan. I had intended to stealthily gather my belongings from the Su household like a specter. But Su Jinghai caught me in the act. Zhou Yuan, with tear-stained eyes, embraced me. Wan, you cannot abandon your sister. This was the first time I had been held by my mother, and under such circumstances, it felt surreal. Gently, I pushed her away. Madame Zhou, I recall that you did not transfer my household registration back, did you? Zhou Yuan was taken aback. What do you mean? I gazed at them, articulating each word. Initially, you wished to retain Su Tingting as your legally recognized daughter, only bringing me back to the Su family without updating my household registration. Therefore, I have no ties to the Su family. I have no obligation to assist a scheming green tea who has repeatedly harmed me. Infuriated by my condemnation of Su Tingting, Su Yu attempted to strike me. I swiftly produced a retractable baton for self-defense. Su Yu, I am no longer the child you could bully at will. Su Yu, exasperated, laughed in disbelief. What? Do you wish to strike me? Come, hit me here. As he advanced towards me, I raised my hand and struck him, avenging my broken fingers. Su Yu fell to the ground with a thud, shocking our parents. Zhou Yuan chastised me for harming my brother. Su Wan, are you even human? You refuse to help Tingting. While she may lack blood ties to you, Su Yu is your biological brother. I raised my hands, tightly bound in gauze. Oh? My dear brother has turned me into this ghastly sight for the sake of a sister with no blood relation? Zhou Yuan, in a fit of anger, retorted. ISNT, this all your fault. If you were a bit more obedient and treated Tingting better, would we have done this to you? I furrowed my brow. Are you incapable of understanding human speech? Zhou Yuan was taken aback, utterly unprepared for my insult. I sighed. It's no wonder. Someone who would forsake their own daughter to adopt a child as a pet has a mind less valuable than that of a pig. Back then, you claimed that Su Tingting was your chosen child, while I was merely the one you were forced to bear. Now, I am returning it to you in full. You, Zhou Yuan, and Su Jinghai are not my chosen parents, and I shall have no further connection with you. With that, I dragged my heavy luggage and departed. After my departure, I suddenly heard the system prompt. Ding, congratulations to the host for completing the 5th Rumor Backlash mission. Only one final task remains. Keep up the good work. I leaned against the chair in resignation, never expecting that even in this situation, Su Tingting would remain obstinate, intent on framing me. Regardless, having left the Su family, even if she wronged me, I could still achieve my desires without pain. However, the events that followed revealed that I had underestimated Su Tingting's shamelessness. She conducted a live stream online, accusing me of verbally assaulting our parents and brutally beating my brother. Sister, I know you dislike me and believe I have stolen 19 years of your life. She caressed the white scar on her face and smiled brokenly at the camera. But Dad, Mom, and brother love you dearly. You share a blood bond, and you are the true family. Sister, please come back. She struggled to squeeze out a few tears, sobbing intermittently. For their sake, I can refrain from accusing you to the outside world. I want to tell them that you were jealous of my relationship with Gu Heng and deliberately hired a group of delinquents to drag me into an alley and strip me of my clothes. After saying this, she deliberately removed her jacket, exposing ambiguous marks on her skin. She also posted videos online of me confronting Zhou Yuan and beating Su Yu. The news spread rapidly. Internet users, often swayed by emotions, were unaware of Su Tingting's true nature and, having seen the concrete evidence, within a day, the official account of S University was inundated with comments. They demanded the school expel me, a person devoid of morals. I cannot imagine the threat posed to society by a high IQ individual lacking ethics who will wield even greater technology in the future. She dares to insult her own parents. Do the teachers at your school not fear being assaulted by her? Is this truly the new era? Why should such a malicious woman be allowed to study at a prestigious institution? If the school does not expel Su Wan within a day, We shall continue to condemn her endlessly. Li Shun, upon seeing the online comments, rushed into my rented apartment. Finding me humming a tune, leisurely preparing a bowl of instant noodles, he sighed in relief. I was worried you might be feeling despondent. I shrugged. I am not the one who has done wrong. Why should I feel despondent? Just wait. Su Tingting will face the consequences for her words. Li Shun held the steaming bowl of noodles, gazing at me with his bright, puppy-like eyes. I knew you would be fine, Wan. I felt slightly embarrassed under his gaze and took out my tablet to contact someone. The situation escalated quickly. Li Shun informed the out-of-touch Li Gunghong about the incident. Li Gunghong issued directives to all department counselors and faculty. Before I could even explain, he prohibited students from spreading rumors. If anyone was found maliciously slandering me online, appropriate disciplinary action would be taken. A week later, as the online fervor reached its peak, I boredly tapped away at the keyboard, thinking it was time to strike back. At 8 o'clock in the evening, Su Tingting began her live stream on time. While feigning humility by asking her fans not to send her gifts, upon seeing someone send her a carnival gift, she sweetly thanked them. She glanced at the comments, where viewers urged her to continue revealing more. Tingting, do not be afraid. We are your strong support. No matter how powerful Su Wan's background is, our Ting family army will never let her harm you in the slightest. Su Tingting was moved, squeezing out a tear. Your support is enough. Rest assured. I am not one to be easily bullied. Next, I will recount how Su Wan has illicitly appropriated the achievements of others to obtain honor medals. Suddenly, she noticed that S University was requesting to connect with her. Su Tingting froze. The viewers erupted in speculation. What is happening? ISN-TS University covering for Su Wan? What if someone is trying to expose Su Wan's crimes through the S University account? Believing the viewers, Su Tingting chose to connect with the official S University account. When the live stream opened, she saw me on the other side, my exquisitely made-up face splitting into a smirk. She assumed I would shy away, consumed by sorrow, but instead, I publicly opposed her. She forced a smile. Sister, you finally agreed to see me. Dad, Mom, and brother are all waiting for you to come back and apologize. I rolled my eyes. Apologize? That's not out of the question, provided you allow me to crush Su's finger bones. Then I might consider visiting them. The viewers were incensed by my audacious demeanor. They had never encountered someone so shameless. Su Tingting cried, her tears flowing like rain. Sister, after all the wrongs you've done, don't you fear sleeping at night? I rested my chin on my hand, raising an eyebrow. Fear what? But the one who should be frightened is you. Su Tingting, do you not realize?
Su Tingting looked confused.
I smiled and said, do you not see that every time you slander me, the very things you accuse me of come to pass? On the very day I returned home, you accused me of pushing you down the stairs, and by midnight, you fell down the stairs while getting water and broke your leg. At the welcome banquet, you framed me for spilling red wine on you, yet you ended up crashing into the champagne tower, leaving yourself in a disheveled state and ruining your appearance. I watched as Su Tingting's face grew increasingly pale. I continued, furthermore, you told our parents that I ruined your looks, so your face, which should have healed, is now scarred. You misappropriated my honors and were reported for paying to substitute others' achievements. This is the 4th time. I extended a finger. The 5th instance is when you slander me in front of 1.4 billion netizens, claiming I hired a group of delinquents to commit unlawful acts against you. Su Tingting's breathing quickened, for she knew that as long as she slandered me, those accusations would materialize. This time, she falsely claimed I caused her to lose her purity. The viewers found my words nonsensical. What are you rambling about? Those are mere coincidences, just happenstance. Moreover, I see you are trying to threaten Tingting. Perhaps you've already found someone and are just waiting to harm her.
Su Tingting,
whose pale face should have remained expressionless, seemed to gain strength upon reading the comments. She shot me a mocking smile. Su Wan, as long as I don't leave this room, your words will not come true. I've already called the police. Don't think you can lay a hand on me. I raised an eyebrow in resignation, believing whatever she chose to believe. After all, I was not the one who would be hurt. Soon, Su Tingting heard someone knocking at the door. To maintain her live stream, she had deliberately rented a place.
See,
the police have arrived. No one can harm me. Having said that, she rose to open the door. I languidly rested my chin on my hand, observing the malicious attacks from netizens directed at me. Su Wan, could you hasten your demise? Your face is simply nauseating. No wonder you thrive. You've perfectly encapsulated the essence of a petty person reveling in their success. We will protect Tingting. Do not even think of harming her. Suddenly, a piercing scream from Su Tingting echoed from outside. In a state of panic, she dashed towards the bedroom, attempting to lock the door. However, the frail door was forcefully kicked open. A group of men clad in black masks restrained her on the bed, perpetrating their heinous acts. You flaunt your body every day, making us brothers quite agitated. The onlookers were taken aback by the unfolding scene. I raised my phone, declaring, "Do not wrongfully accuse me. I am not involved in this matter. I have already alerted the authorities. If I were complicit, would I dare to call the police?" At that moment, the truth of my allegations striking back became evident. Following the invasion of her home, Su Tingting suffered severe psychological trauma, prompting her family to admit her into a psychiatric facility for treatment. Meanwhile, I restored my reputation and resumed life as an ordinary university student, embarking on a fresh chapter. Just as I was on the verge of forgetting the harrowing memories of my past life, Gu Heng, the murderer, appeared at my door. Leaning against his latest model sports car, he idly toyed with the keys, and upon seeing me emerge from the dormitory, he approached, drawing the attention of many. "Darling, you made me wait for so long." I instinctively recoiled a few steps.
Gu Heng, what do you want with me?
He casually draped his arm around my shoulders, boasting to the onlookers, "Su Wan is my woman. If any of you dare to bully her, I will not let it slide." The crowd promptly averted their gazes in fear. This Su Wan truly possesses talent, having driven Su Tingting into a mental institution and stolen her boyfriend. But can we place all the blame on Su Wan? Isn't Su Tingting herself more problematic? I suppressed my nausea and removed his hand from my shoulder. "Gu Heng, I have no connection with you, nor will I in the future. Please do not disturb my life." Gu Heng narrowed his eyes, smirking at my face.
Ha!
"You've already been ruined by me. Why pretend to be the innocent college girl? Su Wan, you are truly dull. Do they know how provocative you are at your core? Last night, you were in my bed, incessantly calling me daddy and pulling me to you 7 times. Now that you're off the bed, you refuse to acknowledge me?" I was taken aback by Gu Heng's brazen remarks. Suddenly, I heard a system notification chime. "Congratulations, host, for completing the 6th task of Rumor Backlash. You will receive breakthrough scientific research technology that transcends this world." As the system voice faded, a torrent of unfamiliar knowledge surged into my mind. Currently, there exists no wheat variety in the country that is entirely resistant to lodging. Many farmers, on the brink of harvest, are devastated by sudden storms, rendering 6 months of hard work futile. I am determined to develop a high-yield wheat that can withstand hurricanes of Category 8 and above, benefiting the common populace. Without a moment to spare, I dashed into the laboratory with my notebook, disregarding Gu Heng. 6 months later, my research team, led by Li Shen, successfully developed an ultra-wind-resistant wheat. That day, the entire entertainment industry paused. Media outlets were filled with footage of my interviews. Meanwhile, no one noticed a mysterious short video of the heir of the Gu family circulating online, in which he was being held down by 7 muscular men, calling out daddy. The end. Thank you for listening. We shall meet again in the next story.